Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague coverage here. The fall major qualifiers. We're in the Monster Energy DreamHack Studios for day 3. Things are just about to get kicked off, and that means we've got more European coverage. We've got 3 best-of-3s today. We were graced by the tiebreaker gods to not have any, which means we're not going to have any simultaneous coverage. We're just going to hit the 3 series back to back to back. It's going to be a good day of coverage. We've got the opening rounds, then we're going to move into the first round of the lower bracket, so somebody's actually going to be eliminated at the end of the day. Tears will be shed, but good Dota will be had nonetheless. We've got a panel here worth introducing. Shane, Lumi, and Cap joining us for the beginning. Shane, how are you feeling on this fine morning, man? Nice to have you back on this side of the studio. They
finally let me out of James's basement.
Yeah.
I kind of snuck in the back door.
Good.
I just kind of ninja'd my way onto the panel. It was only meant to be a 3-man panel, but I got on.
Good. Well done. Well done. Lumi, how you doing today? You looking fresh?
Sort of.
You got a bit of a sleep upstairs.
I did.
Yeah, like when I came in at like 10 AM, I was like, who the hell's this dead person in the corner?
Oh,
and Lumi's just there on the couch.
That was me.
So you pulled an all-nighter? Was that like you were casting China and you just couldn't get enough of the Dota, or you were playing CSGO like everybody else in their off time?
No, I'd spin on a 10-hour schedule every day, so I just need to catch some Z's.
Okay, good stuff.
I feel good.
Cap, what's the good word, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I casted some Chinese games. I was here very early today. Had a lot of fun. A lot of great Chinese matches, but Shane, I got a question. The James's basement, what's that look like? Is there like a lot of chains? Is there a
really
swing somewhere?
Dark. I can't really talk about it. Like,
okay.
I have a counselor that's trying to work me through it.
I understand. Sorry.
My favorite part is the retro black and white tiled floor. It looks like a kitchen out of the 50s.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's good stuff. I don't know why they cover it up with a carpet. That floor needs to be on camera more.
Because when you're in your bare feet, it's awesome. Like, carpets are just amazing. I don't...
Fair enough.
Who wants to be on their bare feet on tiles?
You know what, Shane? I can't argue with that. I really can't. Tiles are no good. All right, so what are we looking at here, boys? Let's take a look at the standings. I think that's a good place to get started because we had a pretty long 2-day group stage, and things were pretty interesting. Like we mentioned, there were no tiebreakers for Europe, but was anybody surprised to see the top 2 teams? Of course, it is Liquid and Alliance from Group A, Ninjas and Pajamas, as well as Monkey Business, the top 2 from Group B. Any surprises here?
Yes. The fact that Alliance managed to make it in the top 2 over both Empire and 4CNL, that was surprising to me. I knew they would do better than Stark, but yeah.
You just knew Stark would be at the bottom of the barrel. That's harsh,
yeah.
man. I really thought 4CL would do better, though. They had a pretty lackluster performance in this group stage.
I think No Logic Gaming on the other side actually put up a really good performance. You know, getting through the open. And then like their last game last night, they could have done it. Like they had to win 2-0 to get into the top 2, but unfortunately they didn't make it.
They put up some really good games as well.
Also, go Nip. I mean, the fact that they took such a dominant first place was rather surprising.
Yeah,
to
they
me.
2-0'd their way to the top. The only team that they drew with was actually Monkey Business, who got second. So it's pretty impressive. And today, when we move into the bracket, I'm not sure if we have an overlay to actually show the bracket, but it will be Monkey Business versus Team Liquid, and then Alliance versus NIP. So we'll get to see the groups kind of face off against each other, 1 versus 2 on both sides of the bracket.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Just small correction. Team Liquid, they 4-0'd the group. They didn't...
Well, sort of. They 2-0'd 3 games, and then the last one they didn't play because they'd already qualified.
Yeah, forfeit.
So if you're looking at Wikipedia, or Liquipedia rather, it looks kind of like they were bested by Empire, but...
they coin flipped for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's how it works. I don't know. They have a big red one there, but...
That's how you know it's a good format.
Yeah. But
they won all the games they played, I guess. It's more concise.
Exactly. Yeah, yesterday we basically canceled that middle heat because both sides of it were just completely pointless for both teams. It was already set who was going to qualify. One of the drawbacks of the group stage format like this, that sometimes you get in those scenarios, but I don't know. Personally, I was kind of glad they canceled the games. It kind of stinks when you make the teams play for nothing when they don't want to. That's when you really get into Clown Town. Oh, my. So first matchup today, we've got Monkey Business versus Team Liquid. That'll be our first best of 3, and then it will be the Alliance versus NIP, the Swedish matchup again.
They can actually see your capitalist drawing on screen.
Oh, good. Yeah, this was from last night. Purge and Cap joined us on the late night panel. Again, we entered Clown Town, and we went deep into downtown.
I mean, that's the slacks factor right there.
What's with both of their postures?
Well,
they're sitting.
No, see, look, Purge has the bad posture. Cap has good posture, but you're noticing that Cap is the 6K MMR caster with a lot of arrows highlighting it. That was good stuff.
I'm not actually 6K anymore. That's pretty sad.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
Get off this couch.
I like how sad you sound. I really appreciate that, Shane. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Your
what
sympathy
happened,
means
Cap?
a lot to me.
What happened? Do you need to go back to NA for a little while, play on the
Pubs.
good servers?
Pubs. They're awful.
Damn, that's
quite a flame.
To the NA
I heard
servers
that
or to
the
Cap?
EU server were the easiest.
No, he is the hardest, I think.
I think NA is the easiest,
everybody
right?
In my opinion, I feel like Europe is a little bit overinflated.
That's where he got the 6K, so, you know.
I mean, I'm saying that, and that hurts, you know, my positioning. So I'm just being honest.
Okay, fair enough. So before we talk about these games, Shane, we're going to need your...
I dropped my pen.
Okay, well, hopefully you're better at unboxing than you are at twirling pens, because we need you to show off the Magnus Hero 8. Slacks could not figure out the Roman numerals last night, so I'm going to help him out.
Yeah, Maximus, not Magnus. Magnus.
Did I say Magnus?
Yeah, Magnus.
Oh my, it's the
You're just in
Maximus.
the Dota
I
mindset.
really am. I saw Dendy play Magnus the other
open
day.
this
It's
entire
Freudian
line.
slip.
I don't know if you actually want to open.
No, you
well,
just-
I think you just want to open the flap. Yeah, sailor style. So guys, this is the beautiful motherboard. It's now been touched by Shane and Slacks, so the value has been increased.
It kind of smells, actually. That explains it.
Slacks
that would
was
be the
sniffing
Slacks.
it. Yeah, he said it smelled funny before he touched it, but maybe that was all just a smoke screen.
Ah.
You know? Okay. So if you want to win this bad boy, it's facebook.com/ROG Nordic. You need to pick your favorite hero, and I believe the guest coming up on next week of Dream League will be the one to select their favorite hero, the top hero of that week. So you got to guess the hero, and then you have a chance to win it. And wait, there's more.
Oh, my God.
And you thought that was value.
What, did he get this?
Oh, yeah. We've got,
This is the little robot from the commercial.
Yeah.
It comes alive at night and battles.
yeah, it's like that movie Toy Soldiers. They wake up and,
Yeah. That was actually a really sad movie.
wait, that might not be the movie I'm thinking of.
Toy Story?
No,
Where they
Toy
come-
Soldiers is the one you're thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like the little army dudes and they're
Yeah,
claymation and
against
they
the,
fight
like,
each other.
the kind of nature dudes. The,
Yeah.
the guy with the one eye. Like, he's just an eye.
That's a sad movie indeed. Look at him though. He fights against lag all day and all night. It's a tough life.
I feel like this is false advertising in a way. You know those ads that tell you, to download this program and it'll speed up your computer, you'll get faster internet. I feel like that's what you're doing right now. This robot will fight lag.
Well, somehow he'll interface with your computer and they'll just,
No, you
they'll
sit him on,
telekinesis in.
you sit him on your modem and he just battles the lag away. 100% guaranteed.
Guaranteed. That's right. Robot has way more value than that motherboard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really,
This
that's
has lightning control. Lightning control.
Lightning. I mean,
I think it's lighting control, but
No, it's lightning control, definitely.
alright.
Don't ruin it.
you just want to look right
English-
in and end there.
Yeah, English is not my first language. so.
If this battles lag, this has to control lightning to be better.
it's got a built-in surge protector. Good stuff.
Okay.
So, all right, let's delve into this first series a little bit. Monkey Business versus Team Liquid. I mean, we've seen the Alliance NIP Swedish matchup a couple of times. Monkey Business Liquid. This one, to me, I think is quite interesting. Liquid perhaps looking a little bit stronger, but Monkey Business really tightened up towards the second half of that group stage.
Am I right saying the last time these teams met was in the Nanyang qualifiers?
Yes.
Yes.
And they got 2-0'd. The
Yes.
Monkey Business did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that, like, will we start talking about the draft, that kind of stuff? Is that cool with you?
Yeah, dude, do it to it.
I think it has a lot to do with the Beastmaster. I think, in my opinion, that hero suits both of their styles very, very well. Vata's amazing at it, and NoTail as well.
Well, NoTail had like 20 deaths on it yesterday.
Really?
Well, that was
He
against,
did.
to be fair,
He
it was
did.
against a Riki. So
I didn't see that.
the Riki picked on him. He had his number a little bit.
It's a Navi Ricky, though.
Dude, didn't have
Why you gotta hate on
Or is
the
that too
most
soon?
like that?
Is it too
No.
soon?
That was a little too
You
soon.
just did the flip-flop. You were like, Navi. Now you're just
Well,
like denigrating them in front of
before we
all these
started-
thousands of viewers.
Before we started, Toby's like, I want to hear some shit talk. So I'm just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
complying with him.
Yeah.
Don't listen to Toby. It's a bad idea.
Okay.
But
Okay, so
that was a
what
weird
happened?
game.
What happened in that game?
Basically, Havos picked Ricky. He played the 4 position and roamed around a lot. And he basically just killed the Beastmaster and over. I mean, NoTail was like 25 minutes in. He still had a level 1 Necro book. He just couldn't
Oh.
get any momentum.
Well, the last game I saw last night was NoTail owning, and he had an 11-minute
The
Necro
Alchemist
3.
game? Yeah.
No, this is the... What?
The same game?
I was casting the game, it wasn't.
Toby's confused about what Shane was doing last
yeah,
night.
okay.
Were you in the
yeah, I-
basement?
were you doing?
Were you in the
yeah,
basement?
in the basement, yeah. Okay, yeah, well, that explains it. Yeah, anyway, he took control of the game with the Beastmaster, and he played amazingly on it. So maybe just Ricky's is one weakness.
It was a strange draft. But no, I think in general, you're right. The Beastmaster is a pretty key hero for them. What are you thinking about this series, Cap?
I think that Tusk actually taking the Queen of Pain. I think that the way that Monkey Business are probably going to be looking at their bans, it's going to be like Queen of Pain Tusk and Queen of Pain SF are going to be their 1-2. They would ban out the Queen of Pain like half the time, and it's one of Fada's strongest heroes, and I feel like it's one of the premium mid laners that you can get right now. Because if you give that win away to Fada, I don't think they've lost with it yet. He's exceptionally good on the hero. I think it fits their playstyle rather well. The dangerous thing about both of these teams is that they're actually able to alter their playstyle quite a bit. Their drafts are really open.
Yeah, we saw Monkey Business do the dirty Doom Lich off lane yesterday. That's one of the combos that I think Liquid will have to look out for. Really for both sides. I mean, anybody can play it, but it's just so good.
Yeah, Monkey Business have 5 games on Lich with like a 100% record. And I think it's a very, very key hero for them. Like, it just opens up your draft so easily. You know, you can even safe lane it, or you can do like a strong dual lane off lane. And it's very
Monkey Business get this this bad rap about how, it's just Miracle that carries them, that 4+ Miracle. But we saw yesterday the versatility that they can bring out, where he played a Necrophos that got off to a pretty slow start. I mean, he did his job, but it was really more of just like a healing kind of utility Necro. Then towards the late game, he got an Ags and ended up being a driving force. But
I actually think the standout player for Monkey Business is actually Moonmeander from the offlane. Like, yesterday he played absolutely amazing. I think, to me, as a player, he has grown the most ever since I've seen him on Complexity to now. I'm glad you brought up the Beastmaster. I think another hero that both teams really kind of connect and they will fight over is the Doombringer, which is, pretty much a hotly contested hero. But I think Monkey Business is like 100% on that hero. And same thing with the other team.
Liquid.
Yeah,
Sorry.
those guys.
It's okay. The name changed. The name changed. Yeah, I got you.
They're pretty high on win rate as well, but that's what you expect from Liquid. When you're winning, I don't know, like 90% of your games, you have a pretty good win rate on a lot of your heroes. So I think off lane, Mind Control, by the way, really amazing player as well. So I think at least the MVP matchup for me is the off lane. They both will get starved, and let's see who could do more with less resource. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
For me, what I'm actually looking at, I think you started on the cap was the Tusk. Like, the support picks for them are very important because they kind of play similar support heroes. Like, the Dazzle is very important. You know, both Bane on crit and Jerex. Both of them play that hero amazingly.
Undying is one of their go-to picks for both teams.
So I'm wondering in the draft, will they pick up the supports first on both sides? Because sometimes we see, especially Monkey Business, they like third pick anti-mage or third pick, like they've done that a good few times in the games I've casted. And then they kind of leave it open. And like sometimes they pair it up with a Magnus, sometimes a Beastmaster.
Yeah.
What's the drafting style against, like, I'm interested to see what Team Liquid, what kind of drafting style they'll go up against Monkey Business. Exactly. Are they going to address the Miracle heroes? Are they going to address some of Moonmeander's because he's been doing so a good job in this qualifier? Do you maybe think about shutting him out a little bit? It's tough, though, because he's got such a wide array of heroes.
He really does. I mean, you can't forget about the Darkseer. I think that'll be a pretty key ban. If not, Moonmeander is pretty happy to play it. He also played a Furion yesterday in the off lane. It was in game 2 against
twice,
Navi.
I think.
Oh,
yeah,
he played it
one of the games I casted. I think one of the games you guys casted.
Yeah, the game 2, that was when Navi was already eliminated, so it was kind of wait, am I getting ahead of myself? No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. They were still in. So yeah, it was a pretty standard game. That was
the Phase Boots Drum Ags game?
Exactly.
Correct?
And he ended up getting the Octarine core at the end.
Yeah. I saw him play the Nature's Prophet as well, and I think it was one of the games they lost, actually.
And I think he got an Orc in that game.
Yeah, he went Phase Orchid. And it just didn't really work. They had a Magnus anti-mage combo.
Okay.
They just didn't really get it off. Like, it was very slow to start. Miracle kind of didn't really get into any team fights and kind of got shut down a little bit.
Yeah. Do you guys think Necrophos is going to be a key hero in this series? I still am not totally sold on that hero. Some games he just looks unstoppable, and other games I just think, why did you pick the Necro?
Against certain carries, it's very, very good. But sometimes I see it picked against like Chaos Knight, PL, that kind of stuff, and it's just extremely difficult to get the Reapers off. You know, these mobile heroes as well. But if you do
Chaos.
Exactly, yeah. But if you do manage to get it off, it just, you nearly guarantee a Rex if you have an Agnums. You know what I mean?
He's a very situational hero right now. You have to ensure that there's not going to be a whole lot of aggression against you because the Necrophos is, like, he's a bit better now with the buff that he received, but he's still weak in the laning phase. He needs time to be able to farm up. I think he's, like, very situational despite the overwhelming amount of strength he brings to the late game. So I would look, maybe that'll show up as a 5th pick at some point in time. But I do want to go back to the point that you made about Darkseer because I figured that the most common bans, So I said earlier it was going to be like the Queen of Pain plus Tusk, or Queen of Pain plus SF, banning away like the Fauna Queen of Pain. And then on the other side of the table, I think it's actually going to be like Doom Darkseer is like the kind of combination that I would expect out of them. Maybe if they lose a game to like a 1-2 pickup where they go the Animage, they might think about banning that one out in the first 1-2, because we have seen that Monkey Business will actually commit for the Animage in the first 1-2 sometimes, just because they see so much value in that hero, and they're correct. I mean, I believe in the current patch that Animage is probably one of the strongest, and he's decently versatile in what you're able to do with him. So I think it's one of the strongest heroes for Miracle, and I think he works in the patch very well.
Was it you yesterday, Lumi, that said Anti-Mage feels like a little outdated on
I'm
on
not
this patch?
as big of a fan for Anti-Mage because a lot of his food is not as picked often.
Always with the food references. I like that.
I think a better carry that both teams have been using is actually the Tiny Wisp combo.
Or even the solo Tiny. We see that a
Sure, yeah. I mean, the Tiny Wisp combo or the Tiny, your laning is so strong. In the mid lane, like Anti-Mage, for example, great comparison is that in the laning stage, he just farms. He's not an offensive capability. But how many times do you see a mid lane Tiny Wisp combo, the Tiny walks forward, tosses Shadow Fiend back, and you get a kill?
Right.
Like that's a very common occurrence. We see NOTAIL a lot of times to go for Blink Dagger first, and then just set up a whole bunch of kills all over the map. And then obviously you do get the late game of the Aghanims, and you just start swiping down towers. So I feel that that's just much more versatile of a draft, as well as just a lot more dangerous of a draft.
One of the games I casted yesterday was Monkey Business, and they did this Alchemist mid, no Wisp Tiny, and they farmed the Ags for the Tiny. And at 12 minutes, he had, I want to say, 12k net worth.
We saw something really similar yesterday.
I was just like, what?
1,000 gold per minute.
That's
No problem.
insane. We saw them do something similar yesterday, though. They did a Doom Lich off lane. They had Jakiro Necro in the safe lane, then the Alchemist mid. And NOTAIL does a really good job, like kind of knowing exactly when to farm for himself on the Alchemist and when to farm for somebody else in terms of the Aghanims. I think he went Solar Crest
I
to
think
Blink.
he's actually the best Alchemist in doing so. I haven't seen another Alchemist.
His balance is really good.
It has a lot to do with the team, though, because the team definitely stack a lot. They prioritize that heavily. So that kind of weakens up your early game. So maybe if you're against like a Night Stalker or Undying, it might be a bit more difficult in them kind of games just because of the overwhelming amount of pressure you'd be under.
Yeah,
so
it's true. I don't know. I like that they picked Jakiro as well. That's I think an underloved hero.
Jakiro, they have like an 80% win rate.
Really?
Yeah, they pick it up a lot, actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
They're good on
Are they pretty much the only team playing Jakiro right now? Because I haven't seen anybody else even think about that hero.
I don't think I've seen any games in 6.85 aside from them, but I could be wrong. There's a lot of matches going on
I
right
like
now.
it against Wisp as well. A lot of utility there with the Ice Path on the relocates, that kind of stuff.
it's fair enough.
Yeah, it's pretty
With
good.
Bane as well, combos up very well with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, guys, we've got a draft underway. Let's see what these teams are cooking up in game number 1.
Nice food reference.
Lumi's rubbing off on me.
All right, well, they didn't ban away the Queen of Pain, so Liquid will immediately snatch that up first pick. Not a surprise.
Anti-Mage first ban.
But, yeah, I mean, I think Team Liquid, I mean, I guess I'll have to wait to see what the response is from Monkey Business, but I'm already feeling pretty confident about Liquid because they managed to get the ban out on the Anti-Mage, but still get the Queen of Pain first.
What about Bane Dazzle? Is that a decent opening for Monkey Business?
A little bit too defensive of an opening, I would say, to run both of your supports like that. One or the other may be priority. But, yeah, Monkey Business. I thought that Liquid would actually be the ones banning away the Darkseer in the first one, too, but maybe we'll see that later on in the series.
Really seems, it seems unlikely they would first pick an Anti-Mage.
But they do. They first two Anti-Mage.
One of the few teams that pick Anti-Mage in the first phase.
All right.
So
Miracle AM, the only team that will actually put that much value in it. But there's the Undying you were mentioning earlier, Lumi.
Darkseer Undying, though, is I think just as scary as an Anti-Mage in the first phase.
I think it's even more scary.
Yeah.
Like, it just opens up so much more heroes. Like you have all these melee strength heroes like Legion Commander, Night Stalker, all these heroes that with Darkseer combined, you know, the Surge and the Ion Shell just gives you so much more early game potential than it would.
It really keeps Team Liquid honest. Like you can't get away with these 4 melee drafts anymore. Like Undying and Darkseer as an off lane combination, it will wreck your safe lane if you don't like draft ton of stuns or tons of disable.
Right.
So very strong opening for Monkey Business, going with their honestly comfort heroes. Team Liquid though does have the Queen of Pain.
What do you think about Venomancer with Undying? Do you think them heroes combo up very well? You know what I mean? Like the amp from the ulti, just the constant chaos in the team fight.
I think it's okay. I think it definitely fits the kind of style. Undying likes to fight a lot. Veno's happy to fight if he can get an ult on 2 or 3 heroes at least.
I think the only time you can really do that, though, is have Undying is a core or Venomancer is a core. We've seen actually recently that Team Liquid ran. I think it was like, they played Fada mid Veno.
I think Big Notel did it as well.
Yeah, because I think they sort of both as supports operate the same general sphere, which is like incredible amount of team fight potential, but if you overdo it, then you'll give up a lot of weaknesses, potentially in like a lack of control. Like you have no stats between the two of them. I do like this pickup though. The Bane, obviously for Team Liquid, one of the higher value heroes for them. It's great defensively, it sets up offensively, and it's actually quite good versus the Darkseer. Because you are able to get that long-term disable. If you have a certain kind of carry that's able to take benefit out of that, maybe a carry that has a stun of some sort, like Wraith King or Sven, or maybe just a raw damage, like a Gyrocopter, you could very easily set up on the Darkseer and get a kill on him.
The Bane picks also limit the enemy carries in terms of what they could pick up. Like in Feeble, if you do max it, which is pretty rare nowadays, it's minus 120 damage that you cannot dispel via BKB or Manta. That's good, and obviously Sleep plus Fiend's Grip is just so much control from one hero. But Shane, I think I was cutting you off.
I was just going to ask if Liquid ever pick Invoker. Is that it? Like I know Fata loves the hero. When I play with him, like I know he really loves him.
It seems like they've just prioritized other heroes for Fata, so I guess not really, but it's definitely in their arsenal if they wanted to bust that out.
And I think it has a lot of potential in this patch. The Quatswex Invoker is quite strong versus many of the strength heroes that are pretty dependent on mana. We actually see it in the Chinese scene, especially up against Undying matchups. They really like that. Undying Doom, Undying Darkseer. So we could see that somewhere in like a 4 or 5 position.
Was it Stark that we saw play that Exort Invoker the other day, Shane? I think it was on day 1. Somebody played that Exort Invoker. It was really far ahead and then ended up kind of, not really throwing, but not really doing too much with all that farm.
It was just, they didn't really play together. That
but it showed some of the potential of what Exort Invoker
It definitely was not at fault of the hero.
Right, exactly. So, well, looks like Liquid are afraid of some Venomancer play. Veno as well as now Alchemist have been banned out. Smart bans against the Monkey Business.
There's a Necrophos ban.
Yeah.
Two of the more situational Venomancer and Necrophos, but very team specific.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, still very open-ended here for both sides.
What I find strange is that Night Stalker has not been touched yet. Which I imagine is not a back pickup for Monkey Business here to deal with the Queen of Pain.
Yeah. I think it's even they would have awkward lanes.
They do.
They need to worry about being too melee heavy.
Well, the thing is, Darkseer and Night Stalker is actually a pretty decent combo. At level 4, you can just go so aggressive with the Ion Shell on. It's not even that bad.
Yeah, I like this pick here. It pairs very nicely with the Darkseer. The Ion Shell and the Flame Guard just do so much damage.
Yeah, I was going to mention the Ember Spirits, because Blitz hits on it all the time in his cast. The Ember Spirit versus the Queen of Pain. The chain disable against the Queen of Pain is pretty valuable. It allows you to be, I think it's a hero that fits really well into the meta right now because you see a lot of these heroes, Ember Spirit, the Tiny Wisp combination, these carries that are able to promote a lot of aggression in that 15 to 25 minute marker, but still fall back and are able to have a late game advantage as well.
The thing about Monkeys, Ember Spirit, is that they're the one of the few Ember that does not go Battle Fairy. When Notel plays it, he exclusively goes Maelstrom, which there is some like disadvantages to it. I think compared to the Battle Fairy build, the Maelstrom, you get a little bit sooner, but you don't ramp up as quickly as the Battle Fairy. And in team fights, you really need the Mjolnir Lightning buff to be a part of your DPS output, which I think in a game where they play against Venomancer plus Bat Rider, where there was DOT all the time, that Lightning was just going ham. Whereas so far in this game, there is no DOT, so if he does end up going for the Mjolnir build, it's probably not as effective.
And there's the Night Stalker that you mentioned, which you're absolutely right. Not being picked up at all in the first 1-2 and not being banned away means it probably will be picked up. Monkey Business didn't really have openings for it, and with the Ember Spirit now in the pool, Night Stalker serves as a rather suitable counter to the Ember Spirit because that long duration silence. It also has a lot of value in its mobility, and some of these team fights, the Undying Tombstone is going to be an issue, but Night Stalker has a lot of movement speed and a lot of attack speed during nighttime that can help deal with that Tombstone. It's a lot easier for off lanes and supports to deal with the Tombstone than before because the change up where they based it per attack and not damage.
Where's the Winter Wyvern? Isn't that like amazing with Darkseer and Undying?
certain teams will value the Winter Wyvern a lot higher than others, but I do agree. Like, I think Monkey Business, they can definitely pick up the Winter Wyvern as their hard 5 hero. It's good controlling hero, amazing with the Dark Seer.
Really good against Queen of Pain, Night Stalker, even Bane. You know, you can that instant disable to like stop Queen of Pain from getting away. You can heal someone when Night Stalker goes on them.
The Splinter Blast is also quite good with Ember Spirit. Just slowing him down, he can catch up and get those sleight of fists. There's the Jakiro, as we talked about in the pregame. One of the only teams that's running the twin-headed dragon.
No, well, Liquid normally runs it, but it seems like Monkey Business takes it away.
Yeah.
Monkey
Business ran it yesterday, so.
Going back to the Wyvern point, I do want to say that Wyvern particularly dislikes heroes that are in your face all the time. And I think a reason that we don't see Wyvern as much is the prevalence of Night Stalker. Just imagine a scenario in a nighttime team fight. Wyvern really wants to stay far back with Arctic Burn and Splinter Blast, and all you do in a fight is try to scope out an opportunity for a good curse. But when Night Stalker just beelines for you, it really limits what you can do and cannot do.
Yeah, the main reason I was saying it was because of the vacuum.
The nice combo it has.
Yeah, exactly. But
as
the
an initiating tool. Yeah.
Jakiro kind of serves the same purpose. You know, you can vacuum into Ice Wall with the Macro Pyre. It's still as powerful.
I think like that the Jakiro gives Monkey Business some sieging power. We've seen a lot of teams fall into that trap where they take a really strong mid game, but they have no way to really break the high ground, and Jakiro helps fix some of that issue.
Oh, this is interesting. They actually, Team Liquid pick up the Razor so much. It's like Queen of Pain, Razor, Queen of Pain, Razor. So I didn't even think about the Razor because they already had the Queen of Pain. But they'll actually have both in their arsenal. I'm presuming this is just going to be a safe lane Razor. Works really well with the Bane because you're able to drain damage during the sleep. Doesn't necessarily give you the most kill power against the Darkseer still because unlikely you're able to get the damage out in time, but it does give you early to mid game aggression, potential tower pushing, though we don't see the Ags very often on Razors anymore. Much more likely you see like SNY and AC.
This does not feel like a Razor game though. This is not like a Razor against a melee like Life Stealer, for example.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on this Razor pick. It's a hero that they have a ton of success with. They jam pick this Razor a ton of times, and obviously Team Liquid is doing amazingly. With that said, though, it's not an all-star A+ Razor game.
Looking at this lineup, though, Liquid are pretty light on stuns. You've got the Bane ulti, and
they need something strong.
That's about it. I mean, sure, you still got some nice silence, some control from the Quap, but I feel like they need something with some real stuns to kind of pull this draft together.
Reserve time.
So, seems like you're drafting in an off lane right now for Team Liquid.
Yeah.
I imagine Bane and
they
Night
could do Night Stalker Bane offlane, but then we still need a support with a lot of like instant stun disable.
I mean, they could do something like a Clockwork for the offlane here.
Sure.
Try and lock in that Darkseer a little bit.
You don't think it's Bane Night Stalker offlane?
I'm not sure. I'm sort of just
like
spitballing.
when I seen Team Empire do that, it looked pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah.
I didn't really see the Zeus as being the last pick for Monkey Business. Maybe I'm just way off here, but I'm looking at this, and they've got a lot of early aggression with the Undying. They've got a decent amount of sustain with the Darkseer, but the Ember Spirit is a poor high ground hero. And I felt like that's what they kind of needed to wrap up their lineup, to take advantage of the Undying, Jakiro, and Darkseer that you get.
PL not a decent pick here against Team Liquid?
For Monkey?
Yeah.
I think generally NoTail plays a core Ember on the safe lane. So what they're looking is actually a mid. But what about the good old Shadow Fall?
Oh boy!
Is this a mid Meepo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I mean, it's pretty good against the Queen of Pain, as we saw a number of times at ESL as well. Weehaw, he wrecked a Quap
the net
more
disabling
than once.
The blink is huge.
Yeah, it's rough until he gets level 3, but once you get the 2 Meepos out, he can just take over the lane.
So the other supports, well, I guess I'm assuming it's a support. They could get a little offensive, I guess, and try and, like, there's two different ways of dealing with the Meepo. Do you get AoE control and just try and take out the Meepos in control game, or do you actually focus one down?
I think something like a Lina, just some big burst damage.
One combo would be the Lina.
Lion is also pretty decent against Ember Spirit and Meepo.
You've got Bane for setup with the LSA. Okay, Earthshaker, that's one of the classic counters, fair enough.
Yeah, and it's a really good jumping hero versus the Ember Spirit as well. That sort of instant lockdown has a high success rate against Ember Spirit.
Okay, well, I think it's time for...
Before we go in, I just want to give a shout out to BlitzDOTA, most beautiful man in the world.
I mean, he's going to be casting for the next hour. Do you really need to give him a shout out just because he asked?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Blitz has that kind of power over people. He has that aura about him. All right, predictions. Let's start with you, Cap. Looking at these drafts, who's taking game 1?
I predict Blitz is going to end this cast moping around how he doesn't feel like he did good enough as a caster and wait for the Reddit shoutouts as well as Shane's shoutout. So that's what I predict.
Okay, Lumi, who's taking game 1?
I really like Monkey's draft. I'd like to see Amiibo do well, so I'm going to go with them.
All right, Shane, what are you thinking?
I'm on board with the Meatball. I think the only one that can deal with it is the Earthshaker. He'll just destroy the rest of the heroes.
I'm inclined to agree as well. I think Liquid, I think they're going to do it. I'll be the black sheep here. I think they're going to shut down this Meepo with the Shaker.
I also predict Blitz is going to really hardcore flame me now. I can see he's already setting Toby up. He's like, he's passed it off to me. I've got this.
All right, well, we'll see if Cap's prediction is right, guys. Sit tight because we've got a game coming up. Toby and Blitz will take it away.